Okay, so it says women are not prepared to selflessly, sacrificially agape love and take care of able-bodied men that they did not give birth to. Well, first off, thank you for this, guys. You know, and we actually talked about this in the panel that I did last week with a group of ladies, and I firmly believe when it comes to like marriage and being a helpmeet and actually being the kind of wife that is going to be an asset to her husband and help build him up, I truly believe that you're not able to do that without the power of God. Period. You're just strictly not. You're not going to have the ability to be selfless, the agape love that he alluded to. You're not going to be able to do that in your own strength. You're going to need God's power and God's strength to be able to love that man the way that he needs it. And this is why I firmly believe, like, just the idea of marriage. I am a supporter of marriage. I love being married, and I love seeing people being married in happy marriages. I also don't believe that it is for everyone, and I don't believe that it's something that you do unless you have a strong relationship with God and you have very clear, spiritual convictions that make sense for you to do so. If you're just entering marriage as a business contract, as what it's been in most instances out here in the West, it's going to end in disaster, and we see that. But I think if you see it differently, like I said, I always say, if you cannot submit to a powerful, perfect God, then you are not going to be able to submit to an imperfect man. If you can't even submit or even honor the different leaders in your life, spiritual leaders in your life, whether it's, your father at one particular time, whether it was a pastor or somebody that you are working with or that you have, that is basically watching over you. If you can't even respect that relationship, then you're not going to be able to respect the relationship of your husband, who's not going to get it right all the time. So that's why I truly think having that spiritual connection is foundational, because without it, you may be able to love that person for a particular amount of time, but as soon as they get in your nerves, or they don't love you the way that you want them to love you, or they don't meet all your needs, or they snore too loud, or they put on extra weight, or they're stressed out, whatever, when life happens, you're not going to have it. You're not going to have it in and of yourself. And there needs to be a greater reason for you to still love that man, for you to still respect that man, even when you feel like he doesn't deserve it. And that's why I feel like having that relationship with God is so foundational. Talks about that, I think, scripture where it says, how husbands are to love. How husbands are to love their wives as Christ loved the church, and then women are to respect their husbands. But the key component of that being Christ, right? And key component of that being based upon having a strong spiritual foundation. To me, that's key. Without it, people do it without it. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm like, I don't know that I recommend it. And I think we have ample evidence to see that just because somebody gets married doesn't mean that they're necessarily prepared to do so. But I'm not going to be black pill and say that everybody who's married right now is ridiculous, because everybody married right now is unhappy. Because we see that stuff out there too. And I'm like, that's just not true. The reason I wanted to get married was because I saw people that were inspirational to me. I saw marriages, I observed them that I wanted to experience. And so I'm not going to say that everybody out there is depressed who's in a marriage, because that's also hyperbolic.